Welcome to episode 4 of Spinning Dreams. My name is Laura and I'm coming to you from Wales. And this is my podcast vlog about knitting and spinning and sewing and gardening and bookish type things, whatever I'm currently creating. And yeah, if it's your first time, you're very welcome. Thanks for stopping by, and it's been a while since I last recorded, so I'm looking forward to getting into all the things that I've been up to. So I'll get right to it. In terms of finished objects for knitting, I have a couple of things to show you. The first one is this cute little Anker's jacket. And this is a pattern by Petite, and that's Mette is her first name. And this is maybe my third or fourth pattern knit up by Petite, and I really recommend her patterns. She does a great job of writing patterns and testing them, and I just think they always turn out really well for me. So the wool is hand spun by my husband, Mark. It is a blue face luster, and it's held double because that's what was recommended in the pattern. And so it's quite dense. It's definitely a jacket. And you can see here there's this ribbing pattern at the yoke. And I've decided to do our avocado dyed hand spun blended with the undyed BFL and kind of fading in and out. At least that's the effect I was going for. I don't know if it looks that way, but I like the way it turned out. And yeah, it's a really simple construction. It's a raglan construction, and so it was very simple and took very little time. The buttons are just for my stash, and the pattern called for I think 5 or 6 buttons, but I didn't have that many, and I feel like because it's such a small cardigan for, I don't know, a very small baby, I didn't think that we needed all the buttons. And so yeah, I think this will fit our little one we're expecting in November, and I think this will be just right for that time of year. It feels autumnal to me, the colors, and the buttons as well with the little burnt edges. Something I talked about last time on my Magnolia cardigan was how I did the button band, and I'll show you on this one. I did the same exact thing for this button band, even though it's not going to get as much tug and pull. I lined this where the buttons actually are attached. I lined it with, again, some linen fabric that I had in my stash. And I think that really just stabilizes it and makes it lay flat really nicely. And if there is any tugging, then it won't make the buttons pull too much and pull on the button band. And I didn't put backing buttons this time like I did on the Magnolia. I just tied a little knot. And I used the wool to thread through the buttons, and it's working fine so far. I don't think it's going to get a lot of friction, so I don't think those knots will be coming loose. Anyway, that's Anker's jacket, and I'm really happy with it. So yeah, thank you, Mette, for that wonderful pattern. It's great. And I can show you also, I think I said in my first or second episode that I finished this Anker's bonnet. And they're a set, so they have the same ribbed feature in the design. And so while this isn't the same yarn as the jacket. I think it's neutral and it matches. And so that will be really cute together. So that's my first finished object, and my second is actually another baby item. I'm trying to knit all the baby things before I am out of commission in knitting for a little bit, and before our baby arrives. So I finished these socks. I think I mentioned them before. This is some of the first hand spun that my husband did. And I thought, well, we really should use that and try and see what it makes. Even though it's a bit less consistent as his current work, or than his current work, I thought this will work great. And they're so like dense and warm and yeah, really, really functional, I think. We'll see. But yeah, I really like the way that they turned out, and I think they'll be a great match for this set. So I have a little set now for our baby. So hopefully baby will be nice and warm in the winter. Yeah, so that's for my knitting. Those are my finished objects for my knitting. Mark has been spinning quite a bit every day, and he has recently finished some plant dyeing as well. We showed you the avocado dyed BFL, and this time I have 2 more by him, and I'm pretty excited about these colors. The first one that he did, I think, was this. This is BFL hand spun, and it's dyed in what he's calling cofftea, which is coffee and tea mixed together to create this kind of warm, kind of a brown cotton. I don't know how to term that. Maybe you guys can tell me what color that is. But it's definitely a neutral, and it has a warm, undertones, and it has some some tonal qualities. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's a bit lighter and darker in some places, and that I don't think that was intentional. It was just the way that it came out, and it's really nice. So I do have plans for this. I was thinking it would be so cute as a bear. I've knit some of Julie of what is it? Anyway, I will link below. But I've been following her for years, and I'm just completely blanking right now on the name of her blog and her rabbits. But she designs little rabbits and bears and just a load of animals that you can knit up. And I've done some in the past, and I think this will be really great for a little bear, maybe a bunny as well. So I may end up knitting one of those. We'll see. The other finished hand spun and hand dyed by Mark is this blackberry, which is done on actually our fleece that we had, which is Thlein fleece, and it's a local breed of sheep, and it was gifted to us, and we started processing and spinning this. And the blackberries, these are just from our lane, down our lane. We've been picking blackberries this time of year. And this is how it turned out, and it looks really cool. It's kind of similar to the avocado, except that it's a little bit more blue, we think. And so we weren't sure how blue it would turn out, but it's still on the pink side, obviously, but has a blue undertone rather than the warm coral or rust undertone. So very happy about that. I don't know what we'll make with it yet. I think it could be a lot of things, so we'll see. But very happy with that, and it was nice to see the thing dyed up and how that took for the first time. So yeah, those are some very nice finished objects, I think. So yeah, that's it for finished objects for me right now. So we'll go on to works in progress. My main knitting progress right now is on the botanist cardigan, which I've mentioned, and it may not look like I've made much progress, but I have. I got it printed, the pattern printed, which was a must for me. I, you know, as you can see from the photo, this is a very cable heavy design, and I'm really excited about that. But it means that I'm looking at 3 different charts, and the setup was really well worded, and I think the design is great so far, but it was complex for me, and my brain isn't working as sharply as I would like right now. So having this printout, has been great. Like I said, it's really well written. Let me show you a chart, just to show you what kind of thing we're looking at here. So yeah, here's the biggest chart, and it's nice. I think it's really well written pattern, and I think it's going to be great. But yeah, I needed to have it printed out just to have a hard copy in front of me, and you can see here I've made like maybe an inch of progress, I think, probably. But all of my rows are set up, and the cable pattern is coming to life, and I think it's just going to be so cozy and perfect, exactly what I was looking for an everyday kind of neutral cardigan for the autumn, winter, spring kind of time. So this is lion brand wool, fisherman's wool, and I'm enjoying that still. Really glad I chose that still. Yeah, so that's my progress on the botanist cardigan. You will be seeing more of that because I'm not going to be finishing that anytime soon. But I wanted to mention also, I was using a metal cable needle to start with, because it's the one that I had in the right size for the gauge that I'm going for. It was around about a 4mm cable needle, and I just found that my cable stitches were falling off, like sliding off, and my needle was falling everywhere. It was just too slippery. And so I dug out my last, because the rest have gone missing, my last of the Brittany cable needles, and I'm so glad that I'm using it. It's the wrong size needle, and that it's too small. Like I should be using a bigger one, but I love these needles. Somebody else was mentioning them the other day and how great they are, and they're such a small little tool, but they really do a lot. They have a little bit of a divot here in the middle that holds your stitches so they don't fall off very easily. And also because it's wooden, you don't get as much glide, which for cabling is probably the better thing. You don't want things falling off everywhere. So really would say get Brittany cable needles if you're finding that to be a problem for you, the slippage. But anyway, yeah, so I think I'm all set up for the botanist cardigan. I'm going to be making some progress on that in the next little while, so I'll keep you updated. My next work in progress is a sewing project. Actually, my next two works in progress are sewing projects, so hopefully you'll find that interesting. I know this is mainly a knitting podcast, but yeah, I also do really love to sew occasionally. So the first one I'm working on is a project for our bed for me and my husband. I've made quilts over the years for people, and I've only ever made one quilt for myself that I've kept. I have intended to keep a quilt for myself, but then end up giving it away because I just find that more fun probably. But I haven't had one that I've kept for us or for myself since I was about 15 years old. So I have that one still, which is very special to me. But I thought it was time to maybe make one for us. So I've started one, and I'm actually hand stitching all of it. I'm hand piecing it because I don't have a sewing machine here right now. It's in Tanzania. As you know, we lived in Tanzania before, and we're still in the process of packing up there and eventually bringing things back. I don't know if my sewing machine will come or not. That's to be seen. But right now I'm really enjoying the slow pace of hand stitching, and so far this is my first square, so I thought I would show you my progress. And this is the Ohio Star patch, and I think, you know, it looks really cool. I think I've never done a patch like this before. It has some history to it. I might link to that below. I'm not going to try to repeat it now because I've only read about it a little bit. And but yeah, the Ohio Star is a traditional quilt patch, and it's a 9 patch, as you can see. And I'm doing kind of like all remnants from other projects, or that I found from other people destashing, or even pieces of clothing that I don't wear. So yeah, it's going to be a cotton linen blend, some cotton fabrics and some linen. So that is the start of that. I'm feeling really good about it. It's so soothing to hand stitch. And I just wanted to show you the tools that I use, and how you don't need a lot for quilting. So at this stage, when you're hand piecing, I find that I want something that keeps all of my cuts very straight and all of my stitches very straight. So those are the two things that I think are really important. And so what I use for those things, for the cutting, right now I'm just using this little tiny self-healing Olfa cutting mat. I've had bigger ones in the past. I've had different sizes in the past, but because we've traveled, this size fits in my suitcase, and I don't have to worry about it bending as much and stuff. And then I use this tiny little OmniGrid, transparent ruler. I have a big one as well in Tanzania, and I will be happy when that one comes, but this one is doing the job right now. And a Rotary Cutter, also by Olfa. And if you haven't used these, there's a little bit of a learning curve, but it really, once you get it, you get it, and you just have to know about safety and the blade, because it is very sharp, which is the whole point. And so I use all of this for cutting precisely and very straight, but like you can see, it doesn't take up very much space, and it's not very expensive because they're small. Like all of these are the smaller sizes, and those tend to be cheaper. So that, and then for my seaming, I use my ruler and my pencils for marking where I want to seam and where I want to stitch. So I'm using 2 different colors because I have light and dark fabric. So I'm using just an ordinary pencil, just a drawing pencil. And then I've also got a white charcoal pencil, which you can use chalk, you can use soap. I know someone who uses soap. And yeah, just whatever shows up. You can even use pen. Like, you're going to be stitching over it. It's going to be on the underside. Just be a little bit careful about what shows through and what would bleed. So that's how I get my seams. I just trace my seams 1/4 of an inch from the cut edge, and that way I have everything lined up and I don't have to guess when I'm stitching. Another tip I would say is I always iron between every seam. I iron it the way that I want it to lay flat. And if you do those things, use these tools and use your iron, then you'll get pretty straight. It's not perfect, and I don't mind that because it's handmade, and that's okay. It's made by my hand, and my hand is not perfect, and I like the look of it. But you can get as close to perfect as you think will look right, and will look like the design you're going for, without any puckering or bunching. So that's that. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention also the needles that I'm using for that. They're black and gold, or black gold quilting number 10s, and they're really tiny, but they're super smooth and they're working really well for this project. I like them. They look pretty classy too with the black and gold, little teeny black and gold design. So that's that work in progress. So I'm pretty excited. Again, one that's going to be taking me a while, but I'm learning that I'm probably a bit more of a process creator. Like I make something because I like the idea of the end product, of course, and I think it'll be functional and really beautiful, but I really, really enjoy the process sometimes. So I don't mind taking a long time on things because I really do enjoy all of these steps. The next work in progress is another sewing project, like I said, and it's another quilt. I'm on a quilting mission, apparently. I didn't know that I would be, but I am. And this one is going to be a baby quilt for our baby, and I am really excited about it because it's going to be made from an organic cotton flannel, which I sourced this fabric here in the UK from I think it's Green Fibers. Yeah, Green Fibers. It was my first time buying from them. And I'm really happy with, I'm just like, I want this for myself. I'm really happy with it. It's so soft and it's so like snuggly, and it really does feel like a high quality. So I'm really happy with it. It was a bit pricier, though I did get a 10% discount, and I'll mention that. So this is going to be not all cream like this fabric. It's going to be hand dyed. So I've been reading about plant dyeing cotton fibers as well as wool, and I've played around a little bit with it, and I've actually been learning from Rebecca Desnos. There's a piece of plant matter in there. And she is a hand dyer, a botanical dyer, who mainly works with cellulose fibers like cotton and linen, and I think that's mainly it. I think she uses like a soya fabric even, like soy. And so I've been learning a lot about how to prepare your fibers, like cotton fabric, for plant dyeing so that it will stay. And so she has this old method. I think it might have been started by the Japanese. I'm not sure on that, but it's where you soak your cotton fibers in soy or soya milk, and you can either make your soya milk or you can buy it at the grocery store. So I've been buying some at the grocery store, and I have a little selection of cotton from this that I've cut a section off that I am going to start to dye. I've already prepared it with the soya milk. So now I just need to harvest my plant materials and start trying different colors. So I would highly recommend this book if you're interested in plant dyeing. Let me see if I can get you an example of what kind of things. Yeah, so she just has a lot of experience. And so when you look at her images here, she has like her notebook, her like kind of a file of all of the colors that she's done and how it looks at the end, and whether she's like what kind of fiber she's dyed on, and whether she's modified the dye bath with anything, and whether she's used any other additional mordant. Here's like another sample page where she's showing all the samples and she tells you how she did it. So without giving too much of this book away, I would say go on and get this book. It's really helpful for this. So she goes step by step on her soy method, and this is how I got 10% off at Green Fibers as well. She has a partnership with them, I think, and I think she does source some of her material from there as well. So I got her 10% code, and I think you can find that on her website if you look for that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to how that quilt turns out. I don't have a design yet in mind. I have a couple ideas, but I'm not sure exactly what quilt design I'm going to do, but I know it's going to be plant dyed. It's going to be very squishy and very cozy, so I'm really looking forward to working on that. So yeah, I think that's it for my works in progress right now. So in terms of acquisitions, as we said, we're looking for a way to process the huge fleece that we'd gotten as a gift, and we figured out the cleaning method, and Mark is like perfecting that and getting it just right so that we have the right amount of lanolin in it and the right slip for spinning. He knows about that because he's actually become the spinner of this house, the expert spinner. So he's doing that, and then we also were able to source some hand combs. We decided that hand combing would be maybe the better option for what we had on hand. And so we got the Wingham hand combs with the base plate. They're double tined, and they work really well. We mounted it to a counter space, and the counter space is at combing level, like at standing height, good for the swing that you need for hand combing. And we both really enjoy hand combing, and it seems to be working really well. We're really happy with the hand combs, and I will link to those below. They seem really well made, and they seem like a good investment for what we're doing. And yeah, it's super soothing to stand there and watch fleece that we know is clean but doesn't look great. It's great for the sheep when it's in the field, but not necessarily for wearing. And so to see it transform from this kind of tangled mess into this beautiful nest, which I actually have here. I can show you. My handy assistant has thrown me a nest. So this is one of his most recently combed and nested pieces from our clean fleece, and it's just so soft. It's like a cloud, and I think he's enjoying spinning with it. And yeah, I look forward to knitting with it. I don't think I've knit anything with this yet. It's all been Blue Face Luster, which we had fiber for spinning. That was our first fiber that we had from Hilltop Katie. So I look forward to knitting with that. But yeah, that's the main thing that's come into our house lately that is new and helping us to process our wool. The other thing, I guess, that has come into our house and really brightened things up for me, I think Mark enjoys it too, but I just love plants and I love flowers and I love caring for them and learning about them. And so I recently had the opportunity to get these little babies. They're so cute. They're from a company in England, and it's called Plants, is the company name. Now it's spelled PLNTS if you're looking for it. I'll put a link down below, but they sell baby plants, and they'll ship them to you. So they're baby plants that have been propagated from mother plants, and you get to see them grow, and they give you instructions on how to pot them. So they come in like a little cell pack, all protected in the post, and then you can order additional pots or just use what you have on hand. I ordered these because I've just moved. I don't have a lot of pots on hand. And they talk to you about how to pot them up and how to fertilize them and what each one might need. And of course, I'm doing my own research on them because it's just fun. But so far, they're growing really well. I'm really happy with them. And yeah, I think they just really brighten a room. And as they grow, I will grow the pots and I will hang them in different places maybe, and Right now they're grouped because I think they look really cute grouped. They're a little family. But yeah, as they grow, they'll take up more space and they'll be fuller and give you that whole vibrant tropical look in your house. So I would recommend that company, and if you're looking for plants for your home. And the last thing I want to talk about is we're getting very close to 100 subscribers. I think we're at 99 subscribers, so I can't believe it, really. I feel like, okay, maybe it's not thousands of subscribers, but for me, I felt like I expected maybe like 10. And like, I feel so happy that that I'm able to connect with all of you about the things that I'm excited about creatively, and that you're stopping by and subscribing. So when we get to 100, I want to do a giveaway to say thank you for subscribing. And so I think next time I will announce what the giveaway will be, what you'll get, and how to participate and how to enter into the giveaway. So thank you in advance for everybody subscribing. I'll do a bigger thank you next time. And yeah, I just really hope that this space is encouraging and inspiring and makes you feel like maybe distracted from other things that are going on in the world that are a bit harder, and that you go away with ideas for what you want to do and how you want to create. Or maybe not, but it gives you some direction anyway. And I look forward to chatting again soon. So in the meanwhile, take care, enjoy all the things that you're making right now, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye!